Lila clicked without hesitation, drawn by the ominous title. The page loaded slowly, revealing a dark, empty room on the screen. A countdown began ticking in the corner, -30 minutes. Below it, a message: watch but never blink. Intrigued and unnerved, Lila leaned in closer, wondering what was about to unfold. The page was empty, save for one prompt: enable camera access to begin. Layla hesitated, a twinge of doubt rising, but the thrill promised ahead was too much to ignore. She pressed allow. The screen flickered with static before it shifted to a grainy video feed of Lila, sitting alone in her dim dorm room. Below the image, a chat box appeared, displaying, "You are player 67. Welcome." The rules were simple. She would receive instructions from the watchers. If she followed them, she'd progress. If not, she'd be penalized. The first task was easy: wave at the camera. Lila laughed at the absurdity but waved. The chat box erupted in cheers. "Good girl. Let's keep her." Then came the next instruction: turn off your lights. Lila hesitated, but her curiosity was too strong. She flicked the switch, plunging the room into darkness. Her laptop screen now cast an eerie glow, her reflection a faint silhouette. A new message appeared: "You're doing so well. Now check under your bed." A chill ran down her spine. She told herself it was just a prank. She leaned down, heart pounding, but found nothing but dust. The chat box exploded with laughter. "Too easy. She's perfect." Her next task was stranger: open your closet door. She did, revealing her row of neatly hung clothes. But then, her laptop's camera feed changed. The image now showed a different angle: her closet, from the inside. Lila froze. She didn't own any hidden cameras. Her mind raced as the chat urged her on: "Don't stop now. We're watching." The next message sealed her dread: "You're not alone, Lila." She slammed the closet door shut and tried to close the browser, but it wouldn't respond. The chat kept updating: "Don't ignore us. It's rude to leave." Then the final instruction appeared: turn around. Lila's breath hitched. Slowly, she turned her head. Her room was empty, but the camera feed on her screen showed something different. Behind her reflection stood a figure, its face obscured by shadows, its long fingers reaching toward her. The screen flickered, and the webcam light flickered out. The chat box went silent. Lila sat frozen, staring at the darkened screen, until her laptop powered off by itself. The next morning, her roommate returned to an empty dorm. Lila was gone. Her laptop sat open on the desk. A new link displayed: player 68 is ready. I always thought dark web stories were exaggerated, cheap thrills for the naive. But one night, boredom and arrogance led me to explore. That's when I found Project Eve. The site was simple: a black background with white text. Do you wish to witness creation? Below it, a button: enter. Despite my instincts, I clicked. A live video feed appeared, showing a sterile lab filled with humming machinery. At the center, a glass tank held a thick, amber liquid. Inside, a humanoid shape floated, unformed yet strangely alive. Text began to scroll across the screen. Eve is the future. Eve learns. Eve grows. Feed her. I was confused until another prompt appeared: enter a memory to help Eve evolve. Curiosity took over. I typed, "My first kiss under the rain." As soon as I hit enter, the figure in the tank twitched. The amber liquid swirled as it stretched and shifted, its form becoming more defined. It grew a head, arms, and legs human-like, but wrong. Its eyes opened, unnervingly large, gleaming with a strange, unnatural intelligence. The screen prompted again: feed her more. She hungers. Unease crept in, but I typed another memory: the night I lost my dog in the woods. This time, Eve reacted violently, thrashing in the tank. Her limbs twisted unnaturally, and her mouth stretched into a grotesque smile. The text scrolled rapidly. Eve is almost complete. One final memory. I hesitated. Something about this felt alive, real. Against my better judgment, I typed, the night I woke up to someone standing at the foot of my bed. The screen flickered. The tank shattered on the feed, and Eve crawled out. Her movements were jerky, spider-like. She turned to face the camera, her two large eyes locking onto me. Then, the feed cut to black. My heart pounded as I stared at the empty screen, trying to convince myself it wasn't real. Suddenly, a notification appeared on my desktop: Eve has found you. Look outside. I pulled back the blinds and my stomach sank. A figure stood under the street lamp, its head tilted, those unnaturally large eyes gleaming in the dark. Eve had arrived. pitch-black corner of his cramped studio apartment, Logan's laptop hummed softly as he stared at the screen. He had always been intrigued by the whispers of the dark web, hidden part of the internet where the forbidden thrived. Tonight, his curiosity got the better of him. Armed with a Tor browser and a PN, he dove deeper, navigating cryptic forums and shadowy marketplaces that promised to reveal things far beyond the surface web. Logan stumbled upon a link labeled The Watcher's Room. Its description was vague. See what they see. Watch the untouchable. Against his instincts, he clicked it. The screen shifted to an almost empty web page, displaying a single video feed. The camera showed a dimly lit room with yellow-stained walls and a lone chair in the center of the frame. At first, the chair sat empty. Minutes ticked by, and Logan nearly closed the page. Then, movement. A man in a grimy hoodie stepped into the frame, dragging a figure by the wrist, a young woman, bound and gagged. Logan's stomach churned, his finger hovering over the power button. Yet, he was frozen, unable to tear his eyes away. The man muttered something, his words lost to the static of the feed. The woman struggled violently in the chair as he tied her down. Logan tried convincing himself it was staged, a grotesque show for the deranged corners of the internet. But the terror in her wide, tear-filled eyes told him otherwise. The chat box beneath the video erupted. User 349, cut her hair first. Red mask, make her scream. Logan's hands trembled as he watched the man follow the suggestions. The scissors glinted under the flickering light, slicing through the woman's hair. She flinched, sobbing uncontrollably. Suddenly, the screen flickered. A new message appeared at the top of the chat. Logan, do you like the show? His breath hitched. No one should know his name. Panic surged as his eyes darted to the webcam on his laptop. It was off, or so he thought. The man in the video paused, his head cocked unnaturally to the side, as if listening. Slowly, he turned to the camera, locking eyes with Logan. The chat erupted again, this time with messages directly targeting him. Watcher 42, we see you. User 349, nice blue shirt. Logan's blood ran cold. He glanced down. He was wearing a blue shirt. His trembling hand slammed the laptop shut, his reflection briefly visible in the darkened screen. He scrambled to disconnect the power and pulled his phone from his pocket to call the police. As he dialed, his phone buzzed with a text. It was an unknown number. The message read, you shouldn't have left. It's your turn to perform. The apartment lights dimmed suddenly, followed by a quiet knock on the door. It was slow, methodical, then another just as deliberate, and another. Logan's breath caught in his throat, his body frozen. The knocking ceased, and the quiet hum of his laptop filled the room. The screen flickered to life, showing the empty chair. But as Logan stared, the man in the hoodie emerged from the shadows behind it. He was smiling. And Logan wasn't alone anymore.